All right. What do you know about stealth links? Well, if you're like most marketers or link builders or SEO agency owners or business owners, you probably don't know very much about stealth links because it's a phrase that isn't used very often, and most people don't build stealth links. And certainly, there's not that many people who are teaching others how to build stealth links. And but we're going to cover them in this video, and let's jump right into it. First of all, who coined the term stealth links? What was Eric Ward, the late great Link Moses? He coined the term. He was very big on stealth links. I remember the first time I spoke with him on a consultation call, and because I hired him every month for multiple sessions, just because we have so many clients, and I'd want to get his advice on every one of my clients on a monthly basis. And when I did, I made a lot of money, and so did my clients. And Eric ended up making some good money too. But anyway, he would always talk to me about stealth links. I said, Eric, I don't care about stealth links. I want links that are going to make my clients money. He goes, then that's why you need to care about stealth links. So let's get into them. So Eric Ward gets the credit for teaching me everything I know about stealth links in more ways than one, and I'll get into that in a little bit. All right, first of all, what is a stealth link? Well, let's get into that in a minute. First of all, let's just say why I like them so much. They're the best converting links that you can build for your business. And what I mean by converting, they're links that convert visitors really into customers or clients. So when you can get a stealth link, it's usually going to be the type of link that is a big money maker for your business. And so you really want to build as many of them as possible. And not only that, if you get a stealth link 1 month from a prospect, they could end up giving you one the next month and the month after that. So it can be recurring. And certainly it was in the case with Eric and myself. And and I'll get into that in a little bit. But when you get the recurring stealth links, and that's when you can start raking in the big bucks for your business or your agency. All right, let's talk about, before we get into what they are, if you can offer stealth links to your clients, like if you're an agency owner, you're going to be differentiating yourself from your competitors in a big way. Because most SEO agencies, they don't build stealth links. They have no idea how to build them. And one thing that we learned in our agency a long time ago is our clients are very precious to us. We like to keep them, our clients, as long as possible. And on average, we keep our customers for a couple of years. And some of them, most of them, I want to say, is well over 4 years. And 5, 6, 7 years in some cases. And we learned that keeping clients, you take care of your clients in as many different ways as you can, not just build links and try to do SEO stuff for them. So when we started getting into stealth links for them, it really differentiated our agency from other agencies. All right, so that's what I like about them. Let me tell you another, before I start showing you some examples of what stealth links would be. It's more about business development than it is link building. And Erica and I used to talk about this a lot. They're not going to help your search engine rankings. And well, they could, in fact. And, the algorithm is set up so sites with traffic, they rank better than sites without traffic. And I'm talking about sites that get their own traffic. So without getting search engine traffic. So referral traffic or direct traffic. So a site that, all things being equal, if a site that has 0 backlinks and another site has 0 backlinks and everything else is equal, the on-page, the content, the keyword, saturation, everything, the H1 tags, the alt tags, everything. All things being equal, if one of those sites gets direct traffic or referral traffic and the other doesn't, Google's going to rank that site higher than the one that doesn't get any traffic. So the more traffic you can get to a site, the better it does help your search engine rankings. And that's why one of the reasons why I think if you do AdWords, that it helps your organic rankings too, just because it's driving traffic to your site. And it doesn't have to be AdWords. It could be Facebook traffic. It could be stumble upon traffic, and especially if that traffic is engaging, it's going to be something that's going to be real good for you. All right, so these types of links, though, really they're not about improving your search engine rankings. What I like about them too is that they're absolutely invisible to your competitors. This because and one of the biggest problems with link building is as soon as you come up with a new link building tactic, your competitor and you start scoring links, your competitors find out about them, and that's part of the game. And not all of them are going to do it. You only got to worry about a couple competitors anyway, for the most part. And if they hired a hungry agency that knows what they're doing, they're going to be following your footsteps. They're going to find your links as soon as they're placed, or it's going to be relatively right after that, at least, that they'll find out. And then they'll say, wow, wait a minute, I see what they're doing, we can do that too. And then they'll do it. Then you'll see their link right next to yours or somewhere else on the page or the domain. And and they find them through Ahrefs and Majestic and Moz, and they can find them through Google Alerts. So there's just a lot of different ways that they'll know what you're doing from the links you're building. So you're leaving a trail. There's no strategy that you can hide from them, a link strategy, because they'll see it. Unless you're doing something black hat and are trying to cloak it. But we're not talking about that in this course. So they're going to see what you're doing, right? And as a result, stealth links, they can't see it because it doesn't show up on the reports, and it can't be easily replicated as a result, unless they're watching this video, of course. And if your competitors are watching this video, I don't know what to tell you. And because they're going to know how to do stealth links. All right, let me close some of this. Let's talk about what stealth links are, some specific examples. And a link is just a connection. And Eric Ward always taught that a link symbolizes a relationship between one person and another, or one website and another. I take it to the next level: one website owner and another website owner. You and the link prospect, whoever owns the site, and so a link is just where they're linking to your site. Now, if they link to your site on their website, that's a normal backlink, and that wouldn't be a stealth link. If they linked on their, say, their social media page, that wouldn't be a stealth link. If they link somewhere online in public, that's going to be a link that your competitors can follow. But let's talk about some specific stealth links. You're like, oh, I see what he's talking about, stealth links now. Yeah, it's like your typical PR. What if you were able to find some industry leaders in your niche who are very, very, I want to say, well followed, and I have a nervous tendency to move my thumb around as I'm talking. I'll try not to do that and take my thumb off the trackball. But find those webinars, and what if they were to mention you in their webinar? I'll give you a perfect example of what happened to us. I did a webinar, well, it was more of a podcast, with a video podcast on Josh Brzezinski's podcast, a White Hat versus Black Hat SEO, and it was after the call, after the show ended. It was the next day. The phone rang, and I didn't get to it in time, and then it rang again right after that. And I know it's somebody that's serious, and ended up getting a really good client from it. So just that was when they mentioned my website on the webinar. That was a stealth link. So that was a relationship between Josh and I, where I came on the show. He mentions my site, and that was a link. Now, it was a verbal link, right, because it was on a webinar. But it doesn't mean that getting a link from a webinar has to be a verbal link. It could just as easily be them pasting recommending your site, and then to whoever's on the webinar, and then pasting your link into the chat window of the webinar. So it doesn't mean that that they had to just mention your site and it's word of mouth. That is a stealth link. But getting mentioned on a webinar, getting introduced on a webinar, getting recommended on a webinar, well, that's going to be a stealth link. And since it's in the webinar, guess what? Your competitors aren't going to find it. Another good example of stealth links are email lists. I remember with Eric. Well, if you get mentioned in an email that somebody's sending out to their subscribers, you're going to get that's a stealth link, because those links aren't going to show up because they're in the emails. They're not someplace public. And that link is going to produce results for you, and a lot better conversions than you would get from any other type of links. Newsletters are another great example of stealth links. You know, the great link building newsletter that Eric Ward ran, the best in the industry, was Link Moses Private. And he we earned several links from him on ericward.com, and that was fun. But those really didn't turn the needle as far as our revenue goes for our agency. They were just more like feathers in our cap. And it was nice earning links from the best link builder in the world. Yes, it was. But what was better, was when he started linking to us in his newsletter and referring his subscribers to my site and into my book, and recommending them buy my book, and recommend them check out whatever post I wrote. That's what produced revenue for my business. So sometimes you'll be building these relationships with golden prospects. It could be a silver prospect too, but you build these relationships up, and you get one type of link, then you get another type of link, and you're on the blog. Now you're on his resource page, or you're on her. You get a contextual link on one of their posts. But now they mention you in the newsletter. Now that's a stealth link. That's where the money's made, right there. And if you can get stealth links, get onto people's email lists and newsletters, you're going to make money. Another good place to get stealth links are private Facebook groups. And if you get an admin of a group, put your link down. Now, I'm not talking you going into a group and place your link down. That's self-promotion, and see my other videos on that, because it's not going to work for you. But let's say the admin who has a nice following lays your link down in a private Facebook group. And this was one of the first types of stealth links that Eric Ward taught me. Was like, listen, go to Facebook, search all these different types of groups for whatever the specific prospect I was going after. And at the time it was Jeep clubs on, there's so many types of Jeep clubs on Facebook. And he was having me go after, I said, so I'm going to get a link on those Jeep groups, and that's going to be a relevant link, and that's going to help the algorithm. He goes, no, that's not what's going to happen, Matt. What's going to happen is you're not going to get any credit for any type of links in there, but you're going to make sales. And it was really because the admin's going to recommend your service or your link, and people are going to click it. And that's a stealth link, because if it's behind a private group, it doesn't get crawled. And other forms of and you can make a lot of sales from stealth links from private Facebook groups, especially if it's a paid private Facebook group. If there's somebody big in your industry that has a huge following, and they have a course and they sell their course, and then one of the bonuses of the course is you get access to their Facebook group, private Facebook group. Right, that is gold. That's because it's a collection of people with money, people that are willing to spend money in your industry. Why wouldn't you want to belong to groups they're in? No, you can't go in and spam them, but just being there and it gives you the opportunity to earn the stealth link from the admin. And then all those people that pay to be in that group probably buy from you too. Other ways you can do it are podcasts, trade show publications, like trade magazines, trade association publications like trade magazines, or you can get mentioned in the book, like in my book, Link Building Debunked. And you can find it by going to Amazon and just anywhere on Amazon in their general search and type in link building. It's usually the second or third book. Eric Ward's is always number one. The only time I beat him at number one is when he gave me a stealth link and asked his list to his subscribers to buy my book. And they did in record numbers, and it put me all the way to number one. And he goes, hey, you passed me. That's how awesome he was. He congratulated me for passing him at number one when he's the one that made it happen with his email list. And I miss him. But I mentioned him in my book and asked, I recommended people sign up for his paid newsletter, Link Moses Private. And as a result, he made a lot of money from subscribers coming from my book to his business. And that was a stealth link. And what if you get mentioned in the YouTube video? I'm not talking about in the description of the video, but getting mentioned in the video. That's like another verbal link. That'd be like getting mentioned in a podcast. What about another type of stealth link? What if, let me get into them last. All right, another type of stealth link is, what about your internal search results pages? If you sell apple pies and the person across the street from you sells chocolate pies and he doesn't sell apples and you're never going to sell chocolate, why isn't, when somebody searches chocolate pies from your site, you give them a 404 that says, sorry, we don't sell those types of pies, but we have apple pies. Well, she doesn't want an apple pie. She tried to order a chocolate pie. Wouldn't it be easy for you to say, to put a custom result for an internal search results page when someone searches chocolate pie, whatever it is that you don't handle, yet you have a result that comes up and says, sorry, you ordered something that we don't have, but you know who has awesome chocolate pies? These people right here. You can get a chocolate pie from them by clicking the link here. Now then they go over there and now they're at your competitors buying a chocolate pie. That's a stealth link. And since most in internal search results pages should be no follow, right? And no index. Otherwise you're going to have a problem with duplicate content. So this qualifies as a stealth link because Google's not going to know about this link. They're not going to see it. And the bots aren't going to catch it either. They're not going to go crawl the internal search results pages because they're going to be blocked. So that's a stealth link. And if you go over to the chocolate pie company and ask him to do the same thing, to put apple pie into their internal search results pages with the link over to you, that's a great way to start relationships up with people in your industry. And it's a big way to make money. But what about bulletin boards? What if you own a local business? And like we have my boys own it now, but a computer repair shop. And they have X amount of people coming in and out of their office all day long. And I'm like, why don't you put a bulletin board up and start advertising some other people in the industry, in the city? Maybe people down the street at the barber shop, maybe put their business cards on there. Maybe the landscapers down the street, you could put their flyers up. Maybe the accountant down the road, you could put some of her cards up. And then when somebody comes in and they're waiting to pay their bill or they're waiting to get their computer, they look up and they're looking at the bulletin boards and, oh, wait a minute, yeah, I do need some landscaping done, or I do need an accountant. That's a link. That's a referral, right? And that's a form of stealth link too. And if you could go and build relationships with prospects and get on their bulletin boards, those are stealth links. Your competitors aren't going to be able to find them. Now let's talk about who to target for stealth links. So these are really easy. Find the list owners in your industry. They're the ones to target. Now, if you're local, you can build these types of stealth links with other businesses in your city, and apple pie, chocolate pie, that kind of thing. Or maybe you have a plumbing supply store and there's an electrical supply store, and you guys are giving each other stealth links in your newsletters and everything else. But it's go after the list owners in your industry, and they're not hard to find. They're the ones with opt-in offers, and get on all their lists and find out, who really are working their lists. And yet, if you go and opt into all their lists and have an email address that you use just for that, and then you monitor their emails, you'll get a feel for who has clout with their list and who are just sending emails out for the sake of sending emails out. Maybe they do it once a month, and there's no real vibe in it, and you could tell that they don't know really what they're doing. And that's not going to be somebody you really want a stealth link from, because they are not going to be able to convince their readers to buy from you. But if you have somebody that's really gelling with their list and you see that they're really good at it, and because you're opted into their list and they're in your industry and they're not your competitor, well, that's going to be somebody you want to get a stealth link from. Now, how do you earn these types of links? Well, you earn them the same way you earn any other type of link. There's 4 different ways to go about it. You can pay for them. You can get put in people's newsletters. If you could pay someone to distribute your business cards on their bulletin board. That's an easy way to do it. And I'm not telling you to do it, but you could. And it really wouldn't be black hat. You're just buying space, right? You're just advertising because Google's not even going to see these links. It's just maybe common sense. Sometimes paying somebody for a stealth link, if you can get in somebody's newsletter and they have clout, and you can get into the newsletter for a couple $100, and there's a good chance you'll make that back in the first 15 minutes of the email going out. So you might want to consider buying that, if you can get that type of person that will sell you the link. All right, leverage too is another way. This is one of my favorite ways. You have to give to get, not get to give. I sent Eric Ward a stealth link before he gave me a stealth link. I gave to him the stealth link in my book, and he found it and he made money with it, and it leveraged an opportunity for him to do the same and reciprocate. And reciprocation is really big. You have to give to get. When you reciprocate, he called it preciprocation. You're doing something nice for somebody in the hopes they're going to do something nice in return. But if they don't, no big deal. You did something nice for them. If Eric never linked to my site, I didn't care because I knew that sending people to his newsletter and to him was the right move because he knew a lot of things about link building I didn't, and I care about my readers, and I wasn't competing with Eric. There's enough business to go around. I'm not so jealous that I'll lose a reader, afraid I'll lose a reader by sending them over to Eric. I think it was better for my business I sent them to Eric. Because it made me a lot more believable. I wasn't just talking my own merits or my own I wasn't just tooting my horn. I was talking about somebody else too, but I meant it, and it turned out he liked it, and he ended up linking to me too. You can also get stealth links on merits. He told me once that on his newsletter, Joost de Valk from Joost SEO, the best SEO plugin in the planet, mentioned him in the newsletter, the Yoast newsletter, mentioned Link Moses Private and recommended everybody sign up for it. And he said he had like 100 subscribers just come in just overnight. And that's nice. They were paid subscribers. Now, that was based on merit because Joost de Valk was a subscriber to Eric's newsletter, and he kept getting them and getting them, and he liked them a lot. Then eventually he gave a stealth link to his own newsletter list. And so that's another way you could do it. That's the long road. Those are nice little ones when they come in, but man, if you're basing your whole thing on that, you're not going to get stealth links right away. It's best to work on these other 3 and let these just come in as they come in, right? All right, another way you could do it is trade. I love trading. And think of different ways that you can give stealth links to others, like I did to Eric. I gave him something, and I didn't ask for anything in return, and then he turned out to giving me a bunch more stealth links. So I wanted to include that here in this module. This isn't really about link building. It's just about business development. But I had somebody ask me about stealth links, where they could find a video talking more about it. And I've always talked about it through the Golden Prospect training, and I mentioned it in other videos, but I didn't have a video just dedicated to stealth links, but now I do. And so don't be afraid of stealth links. Now, if you're an agency and you're getting paid X amount and you're doing all you can getting them links, your client links, I want to tell you, you can still get stealth links even if it's not in your time budget. What you do is go back to the people that you've earned links from already and then just start warming them up to a better relationship. And you can get that in the Golden Prospect training, how to do that. I talk that the entire thing is how to relationship build and how to build leverage. But go ahead and do that with the people that's already linked to you and try to build a deeper relationship up with them so they can give you a stealth link in addition to the link they already gave you. So there's lots of things you could do, and that wouldn't cost you any money at all. So there's lots of things you can do. I recommend you build stealth links. Don't ignore them just because Google won't see them. Who cares about Google? You're in business to make money. If you're building links for your own business, you're doing it because you want to make money, right? And if you're an agency owner and you're working for a client, well, you want that client to make money. Not, don't make your job getting links for your clients. Make your job making money for your clients. And that's another way to keep your clients for a really long time. So that's stealth links. So do with them as you will, but I recommend you get some built because, boy, they're money.